Hi fans, welcome back to the Casuals. I'm Alec. To my right is co-host Carlos, and in this video we'll be going over UFC Vegas 28 main card, Rosenstrike versus Sakai. Now, Carlos, I don't like being that guy to hype up fights, but this card might be the most slept on fight night card I've ever seen in all my years as an analyst. By all my years, I mean 3 months. Problem?
Is this live? Yeah, okay.
This card, UFC is trying to kill me. I think that's literally what they're trying to do. With the past few weeks, look, 262, it was okay. It honestly did not, in my opinion, live up to expectations. That main event, great. And I don't know if this is just the spoiled UFC fan in me, but these UFC Vegas cards, man, oh my god. The one that was entertaining for me was Reyes versus Prohaska. That was a great fight. Okay, and then just a few weeks ago you had Cody versus Rob Font. Decent main event. The rest of the card was absolutely forgettable. You had one heavyweight fight that was considered fight of the night, where it was only fight of the night because Justin Tafa put a 1-inch cut on Bandera's head that resulted in a fountain of blood. Other than that, it was relatively kind of a boring fight, in my opinion. You had a decent main event. Now, that was the thing about the past few cards, is at least you had a main event, right, that you look forward to. Now here you have this UFC Vegas 28, Jairzinho Rosenstrike versus Augusto Sakai.
Live, okay. Right?
I don't know what Jairzinho has done to get all these main events. Like, I get before he lost to Ngannou, before he lost to Gain, he was 11-0, you know, kickboxing, very fast hands, powerful striker, good counterpuncher. So in the eyes of the UFC, that's exciting. But when you put out the type of fight that you put out against Gain that 1 week, that was the same week, by the way, when Canelo was fighting Yildirim, you know, that fight. And keep in mind that the fight started between Jairzinho and Gain, and a few minutes later, Canelo's fight started.
I remember.
Within that time, Canelo was able to finish a guy within 3-4 rounds, or I believe it was 3 rounds. And this other fight was still going on, and there was nothing happening. It was so uneventful. Like, I understand there's chess matches in MMA. You know, you got your Wonder Boys versus Tyron Woodley's, where, you know, it's just a chess match. Every single mistake is absolutely, you know, consequential. But sometimes you need something, man. You need some type of entertainment to get excited about these fights. Whether it's the names, whether it's the stakes, whether it's the chance of a finish. And this card is just 263 is not too far away, and I hope it lives up to the expectations. God, we need something. We need something, UFC.
Yeah,
I know it looks stacked, but if I want to remind people, UFC 259 was stacked. That card was very lackluster. Anyways, besides the point, talking about this week's card, Alec, take it away.
Yeah, this card is fucking bad. Nevertheless, show must go on. Starting off the main card, we have Tom Breeze, 12-3. He's the favorite, -250 versus Antonio Arroyo, 9-4. He's the underdog, +210. Nice middleweight scrap here. Who fucking cares? Let's move on. All right, next we have... Okay, I'll give you a pick. I'll pick Tom Breeze. I don't know these guys that much. I don't know why they're on the main card. The prelims has some interesting fights before this first fight on the main card. I'm going Tom Breeze, 12-3. Fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a safe pick. Tom Breeze is good at BJJ. He's a decent striker. A decent wrestler. He has KO power. He did lose his last fight to Amari Akhmedov via arm triangle choke, but in that fight he was almost getting to Amari. But I believe he could take it to Arroyo. Arroyo, there's not really much on this guy, because it's not just my opinion. I think the consensus is he's not really a UFC caliber fighter.
No.
He is a Muay Thai fighter, but he's had just a few Muay Thai pro fights before he came into the UFC scene, and he got kind of dominated by Darren Wynn in his last fight. Darren Wynn, you know, Daniel Cormier prodigy, also someone who is struggling in the UFC limelight. But I think not necessarily a super easy win, but I think Tom Breeze is a good favorite in this fight. I would not bet on the underdog here.
Yeah, Tom Breeze decision. All right, next we have another middleweight clash. Dusko Tudorovich, 10-1. He is the favorite, -140, versus Gregory Rodriguez. He's 9-3, and he's the underdog, +120. Okay, look, if you're a betting man, like to root for an underdog, make some cash, I think this is the fight you want to bet on. I like Rodriguez in this one. He was on Dana White Contender Series in 2020. He didn't get the win, so he fought. He didn't get the win, so no contract for him. He did fight in other organizations, but his last 2 fights, he's won by knockout. So he has hands. Hell, he's even won a title match in LFA. That's Legacy Fighting Alliance. Plus, he's fighting UFC now, and it's on the main card. So how about that? Now, Tudorovich is no slouch here. He had an impressive 10-fight winning streak before he got stopped by Soriano in the first round. Also debuted on Dana White's Contender Series, had some UFC wins over Teddy Ash and Daquan Townsend. Both of these guys are looking to get back in the win column. Both have knockout power. Both have finishes on their records. Carlos, who do you got in this one?
Personally, this is actually kind of a toss-up. There is really no clear winner in this. Both of them are decent strikers. Both of them have KO power. This actually could be a candidate for fight of the night. I do expect a finish in this fight. Rodriguez, he is coming in on short notice. Now, this is Rodriguez's UFC debut. I mind you that this man is not only is it on short notice, but the only reason he's in the States is because he came from Brazil, obviously. Initially coming to the United States to help his buddy with something. I believe it was building a church. And he started training at King's MMA. And just some way or another, he found himself into contacts with the UFC. And now he's on a short notice fight. He said, Dano, I guess said, let me give you an opportunity. This is the opportunity going against Tudorovich. Tudorovich, also a decent striker. He also came out, like you said, on Dana White's Contender Series. He won his fight in Dana White's Contender Series, and he also won in his UFC debut. I'm giving Tudorovich the edge in this fight. I believe he has the ability to get through Rodriguez. Obviously more prepped. He did lose his last fight in the UFC, but I mean, here it's kind of a toss-up. Like I said, Tudorovich does have a low guard. He could get caught, but I'm betting on the fighter who's a lot more prepared on this fight. Tudorovich by KO, second round.
Wow. Absolute clown. No, I'm kidding. I mean, it is short notice. Rodriguez, he has nothing to lose here. And, you know, he made some moves. Daniel's like, fuck it, let's put him in the main event. Last minute replacement. It's things like that. You know, you make these moves and it's unexpected that actually sometimes have a good outcome. So we'll see. I got Rodriguez. TKO round 3. All right. Now here's a fun one. Santiago Ponzinibio, 28-4. He is the underdog, got +100 versus Miguel Baiza. He's 10-0. He is the favorite, -120. Very close welterweight match here. Look, we can't forget Ponzinibio's 7-fight win streak he had back in 2015 through 2018. Man was undefeated for 3 years. Gotta show some respect. He climbed up the rankings, had some great wins against Gunnar Nelson, your boy, Mike Perry, and a nice TKO stoppage over Neil Magny. Now, unfortunately, he's also had some setbacks. Mid-2018, he had surgery on his left hand. In 2019, he had this crazy bacterial infection that sat him out.
Life-threatening.
Yeah, it was just random from bacterial infection, but life-threatening. It was kind of crazy. And 2020, obviously, COVID happened for everybody. That's just some shit luck right there. I hate to say it. He did fight earlier this year in January against my boy, Mr. Lee Jingling. But first round loss, TKO. Yikes. Now looking at his opponent, Michael Baiza. Not gonna lie, no fucking clue who this guy is. But he's undefeated, 10-0 for a reason. He has wins in the UFC against Victor Reina, Hector Aldana, and even Matt Brown, UFC vet. Pretty nice. In his last fight, he snagged a submission win over Takashi Sato. So he's headed in the right direction. He's challenging Ponzinibio. Ponzinibio's not ranked, but is a good name to have underneath your belt. Who do you like in this one, Carlos?
Personally, I have Miguel Baiza. I mean, he's 10-0. He's streaking right now. He's the younger guy. He's been active compared to Ponzinibio, who hasn't. During that time when you're injured on top of the bacterial infection, I mean, there is no time for improvement there. You were just focused on recovering. So obviously he had that tough fight with Jingliang Li. He got KO'd in the first round. Really tough to see. Like I said, he's had that long layoff. He fights in January 2021. KO'd in the first round. I'm not sure if Ponzinibio, the way I saw him like that, if he can take a shot anymore. I don't know. You know, that the injuries that he went through, the bacterial infection that you talked about is pretty serious. So going against Miguel Beza, I'm picking him because not only did he just get KO'd not too long ago, I mean, he's fighting 6 months later. Not really a lot of recovery time after a KO like that. Not a lot of time to improve. Miguel Beza is just streaking right now. That's what I have my cards on. I have Miguel Beza by knockout. Second round.
Wow. Very interesting. I mean, that's crazy. I'm gonna go with the UFC vet on this one. I like Ponzinibio. Yes, he's had a layoff. Yes, in January this year. Yikes moment. But I believe he still has a lot left in the tank. He has something to prove here. Of course, the UFC vet against a young, streaking, up-and-coming prospect. We've seen these fights thousands of times. It goes either way. We got Ponzinibio winning by decision. Okay, up next, Roman Dolidze, 8-1. He's the favorite, -150 versus Laureano Sarapoli. He's the underdog, +120. God damn. That's the third middleweight bout in the main card. What's going on here, Dana? Listen, Roman has 2 wins in the UFC. Laureano has 2 wins in the UFC. I don't know too much about these guys. Flip a coin. I'm going with Dolidze.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a short notice fight also for Sarapoli. Roman's opponent, I believe, fell out not too long ago. Roman is the favorite on this, so I'm gonna take him.
All right, co-main. Wow, what a card so far.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Co-main, we have Walt Harris, 13-9. He's ranked number 8 in heavyweight division. He is the underdog coming in +150 versus Marcin Tybura. He's ranked number 11 and 21-6. He is the favorite, -175. Walt Harris' last 2 fights, yikes, both TKO Ls from Volkov and Overeem. Now in the past, he's shown some power. In round 1, TKO finishes against Alexei Olenek and Sergey Spivak. So how's he going to do against Tybura? That's a tough one. Marcin Tybura is on a hot streak right now. He's won his last 4 fights. Got a nice TKO finish against Greg Hardy. Looking to get his name back in the top 10 rankings. Tybura is strong. He shows a ton of heart in every fight. Also has decent wrestling. And if he takes down Walt Harris, newsflash, fucking horrible takedown defense. Well, it could be easy night for Marcin Tybura. I got Marcin Tybura decision.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Walt Harris, you know, respect to him, coming back on his 3rd fight already, trying to get a dub. And he has power, without a doubt. But the thing about Harris is he kind of blows himself out early in the first round, and you can pretty much have your way with him. At least that's how it's been in the last 2 fights. Tybura, and he's actually known for kind of starting a little bit slow, feeling out the fighter, and then the later rounds, taking him down. By the way, he was the only fighter that has been able to keep down Derek Lewis, obviously aside from Daniel Cormier, and he's really good against the fence, and just really feel Tybura would just take him into the later rounds and could possibly finish Harris on the ground. I actually have this Tybura on the ground, TKO round 3.
Finally, we have our main event. Rosenstrike, 11-2. He's the favorite, -130 versus Sakai, 15 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. He is the underdog, +110. Wow. This card, man. Absolute clownery. I'm not feeling it. This is super fucking cheap. It's hard to do this, believe it or not. And I get it. Not every card can be dynamite, ranked fighters, and every prelims and main event. You know, every now and then you gotta throw some of these cringe cards, but damn. I may have to hop on my PS5 for this one. Okay. So yeah, Rosenstrike versus Sakai. Carlos, tell us about this main event, please.
So Jairzinho, he's kind of reeling. He's kind of, you know, in this limbo in the UFC where had a lot of hype coming into the Francis Ngannou fight. We obviously saw that, quickly KO'd in 20 seconds. Oof. Then he fought against Junior Dos Santos and actually TKO'd him in the 2nd round. Then he comes in this fight in this main event against Gain, and it's just kind of a chess match. I felt like Rosenstrike was very gun shy. He's kind of waiting for the counter punches that wasn't there, but he was always worried about the takedown. And he just, I don't know, he just wasn't there that night. And now Sakai, 15-2, also lost his last fight against Overeem. He got TKO'd in the 5th round. But before that, he beat Blagoy Ivanov. Also kind of an iffy fight. You know, there's a lot of debate whether Blagoy actually won that fight because Sakai was doing a lot of fence grabbing. This is kind of a tough fight. Both fighters, only 2 losses on their record. Not really a lot of high quality competition on their resumes other than their losses. But that's kind of what the heavyweight division is nowadays. It's very top heavy. It's not really stacked with talent. Really can't remember a time where it was stacked with talent besides the Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez, Shane Carwin days. Now it's
Mark Hunt too.
Mark Hunt as well. Very lackluster right now. So with this fight, I do expect actually Sakai to win. I think Rosenstrike, if you get him against the fence, he struggles. And he struggles to counter. He's kind of hesitant, and his activity is just volatile. Sometimes he goes at it, sometimes he doesn't. He does have fast hands, but with Sakai, I believe he can be consistent enough. He can work him against the cage, possibly take him down, work him there. Probably take this to a decision, honestly. I'm not seeing a finish here. Your best chance for a finish could be Rosenstrike. You know, he is a decorated kickboxer. He does have fast hands, like I said, and he kind of has power, but he's just, believe in his last few fights, been too gun shy. And like I said, it's kind of like with the Gain fight. Sakai threatens the takedown. He threatens the striking. Rosenstrike is just going to be constantly dealing with that throughout the whole fight. He'll back him up, piece him up against the fence, get good clinch work, dirty boxing, some elbows, and I believe he could take this to a decision win for Sakai.
Okay, that's a great take. Picking up what you said, Rosenstrike, fast hands, decorated kickboxer. I know he's 1-2 in his last 3 fights, but I kind of don't want to count the Ngannou fight because that was what, 20 seconds. Dude got scorched. Oh, but that also tells me he has balls. He's crazy enough to take that fight. He's not scared. I see the way he took out Orlovsky, TKO finish, Overeem, TKO finish, that ugly fucking lip. He lands some damage. And Junior Dos Santos also TKO finish. Now the Cyril Gane fight, or Cyril Gane, yeah, he did look gun shy this fight. Maybe they were expecting more takedowns from Cyril Gane because he's a Cyril Gane. He does have great BJJ. He's a ground specialist. Maybe they were aiming more of that in the game plan. But yeah, that last fight, yikes, it wasn't fun for any UFC fan. But like I said, giving off the finishes from his wins, I'm gonna go Rosenstrike round 4 TKO. I have not seen a Sakai fight. I've seen very little. Okay, I've seen little highlights here and there, but I don't know, man. This is tough. I'm picking Rosenstrike round 4 TKO. You guys have no idea how hard it is to give our picks with this kind of card. Subscribe now, please.
I mean, it's hard enough in the UFC because UFC is like one of the worst sports you can do any type of parlay bets on because it's so 50-50 that, you know, you have 4-ounce gloves. Someone could get caught easily and that's it. It's over, regardless of experience, regardless of skill gap. You know, like everyone has a puncher's chance here even more so than boxing because of the glove size. And
that's also why we love UFC.
Yeah.
Crazy shit happens all the time.
Absolutely. But in this case, you're dealing with fighters that are just coming into the limelight. You're also dealing with the heavyweight division, which in my opinion is one of the worst divisions in the UFC right now, along with women's flyweight, women's bantamweight. You can argue that even men's flyweight right now is just not very hot, not really stacked from top to bottom. Very, very top heavy divisions. So yeah, this could be one of those sleeper cards where like every fight's finished, and that's great. I would love to see that. But this is just a build up to 263 in my opinion. That's where we're getting the firefights. And yeah.
Next week, please. Next week. No pullouts, no injuries, please.
I just want to see Nate Diaz and I want to see Izzy. That's it. I'm happy.
I want a good pay-per-view card, please.
All right. Well, appreciate you guys sticking with us throughout that whole video. And if you could like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. Give us your opinion on some of these fights and what possible other fights you want to see in the future. How do you think these fights are going to finish? And yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Follow us on our social medias. We got IG and Twitter. See you guys on the next video. Take it easy, guys.
Later, guys.